because it's like 50 degrees in my house. I don't want to run the furnace. Because if it does warm up, then the house will be hot later. No, I'm not wearing my ball cap because I washed it yesterday and it's still damp. It's hanging here drying. Someone's here. Guys, I have a video that I want you guys to get to see, but you're not going to get to see it here. Not on YouTube. There's just no way. Because I got some more stuff from Olight. You know, I like this light. I like it a lot. I've been carrying this is constantly in my pocket. Too bad they're sold out. I'm sorry, guys. These are sold out. The Wallaby. Hey, how's it going, man? The brass i5T EOS is sold out. They sold out before the sale even started. So if you guys were trying to get one of these, I apologize. They're already sold out on Olight. So, hey, bro, when you're used to it being a certain temperature and then you wake up and it's not even 60 degrees in your house because it's just barely 40 degrees outside and it's raining. Yeah, I'm going to complain about it's not even 60 degrees in my house. It was 54 degrees here about 15 minutes ago. So I have 2 on the way, early access to all the sales. But that doesn't help me, Jeremy. You were supposed to use my code. So I'll show you what I got, but I can't show you everything. So I have to dismount it. This is a modular mounted light. This is a light called the Valkyrie 2, or the Mini Valkyrie, the PL Mini 2 Valkyrie. This is, it's got a magnetic dongle that you charge it with, but this is for a handgun. And I have it mounted to my rail on my SIG, but it's got an ambidextrous activation switch. And you don't even have to take it off your firearm to recharge it. I have another one, but it's mounted differently, and I'm gonna do a video, but I'm gonna have to do it on full 30 because there's no real way for me to do that video here. It's not that oh, you guys have got to go follow me at full 30 if you want to see it. It's just the fact that I can't. I mean, by YouTube's rules and regs, I can't. But this is an awesome, awesome little light. And the thing I like about it, well, I can take the other one off. I just have to take the whole thing off. This is the other one that I have. This is the Boulder. It's kind of dark. This is the let's go turn this light on. This is the Boulder Pro, and it doesn't have that rail. It's separate rail. The whole thing attaches to the firearm, and you only have that one spot. So you have to find the sweet spot to mount it to where you're up against your trigger guard, because your activation buttons are here. And this has a 5 megawatt green laser and like 1500 lumens thing. But see, this doesn't have, I can take the whole thing off. It's not that hard. This is the other part of the first one I was showing you. So you see how that one is just like one piece. This is, this you can actually put on your rail, and then this allows you to pick and choose how far back it goes, because on a lot of firearms, especially handguns, there's only a couple spots to put, like maybe 2 cutouts on your rail. Like a long gun, you've got a long rail. You can pick and choose where your optic or your light is. On a smaller gun, on a smaller firearm, you can't. So this allows you to adjust that. I think that I didn't get the Boulder Mini. This is on loan. I didn't get a Boulder Mini. I think the Minis are different, but they're more like this, but then they have a laser built into it. So basically it's this with a laser is what the Boulder Mini is. This is the Boulder Pro. The cool thing about this is you can choose between, let me see. So I can turn on the light and the laser. You're not gonna be able to see the laser. I can turn on just the laser, or I can turn on, so this is 1500 lumens. just the light, but if you grab both of these, you get a strobe. And I had the laser on, like without the laser on, it's just the light. But yeah, I'm gonna do a full video about those over on full30.com. Just because I can't, I can't do the full thing here because I'm gonna show how it mounts and all that stuff. So I never thought I wanted a light for on any of my pew-pews until I got this one, and I'm like, all right, you know what? That is awful convenient to have a little light that I can mount. You know what I mean? So I'm reassembling my accoutrement. Took French. I know how to pronounce it properly. I am going to start doing more content on full30.com though. And mainly because as much as I enjoy some of the things I can do here, there's a lot of stuff I can't. I really, guys, you have no idea how much I censor myself. Like any of you guys that know me personally, have talked to me personally, know I've got a potty mouth. And I have to make a concerted effort to censor myself on here, on this platform, because I want the content, not that it's not so much the monetization, but the monetization plays into the ability to monetize a video. Also, with it being ad friendly, affects its visibility. So it's not that it's not that I care so much about money coming in from YouTube, the monetization piece. It's just that if I want to get these things out to people, the visibility of a video is determined by its ability to be monetized. It's one of the things that falls into the algorithm that I've learned is videos that aren't monetized don't get the traffic that videos that are monetized do. And so it's one of those necessary evils that like I have to censor myself and have to meet inside the criteria for their monetization for the channel to be successful. It's just one of those things. It's not so much about the money. But on Full30, I don't have to worry about that. My beard is still all screwed up. I've got a mark from the strap, from my CPAP strap. Still, I literally woke up and just started the video. I've only been up for a few minutes. So, 10 of y'all here, 7 likes. Okay, before I get into what's going on in my life, I will let you know what Full30 is. So Full30.com is a direct competitor to YouTube. There was a channel called Student of the Gun that got booted from YouTube because they wanted to do like full-on tutorials, and it's outside of YouTube's guidelines. So they kind of got booted from YouTube, and they started their own channel. It's a father and son. I talk to them all the time, the Markles, and Jeff from Ready Man Group has been involved. So basically they built their own channel on an infrastructure that's not supported by big tech. And so what you have is a platform that's similar to YouTube. They're still building it. So there's a lot of little hicks and giddy ups, like little hitches in the giddy up, little hiccups, because right now you can't go search my channel. That's why I put the link in the description of my videos now. So you can find me on Full30 because I've got a couple videos that are in the works. They're like partially shot. I'm waiting on some other things. I have a guy that was going to be in one of the videos with me. I don't think that's going to play out because it's just too busy. And so what it was they built their own platform and they don't censor anything. So it's just one of those little offshoots, but instead of being like the thing that we can't mention that got taken down by Amazon because you can't talk about that right now on YouTube. Instead of being like that, where they lost their platform because they lost their servers, they have their own servers. And so it allows guys that want to do firearms content a place to do it. But with that, there's other stuff that winds up get posted up. But it's predominantly firearms and stuff like that. And that leaves me an avenue that I can do things that I just can't do here. That's nothing to, like, I get upset with some of the things that YouTube does, but all in all, YouTube's been a really good platform for me. I've done well. Nick Shabazz has done well. Birdshot's done well. Cutlery Lover's done well. Everybody's like, oh, the knife channels. The knife channels, like knife review channels like mine and Nick's and things like that, and Walter Sorrell's making stuff, I don't think those channels really have to worry too much about what's going to happen on YouTube. The firearms guys, that's why they've migrated. Hickok 45 is there, Forgotten Weapons. So if you watch Gun Jesus on YouTube, you can watch him there as well. It's just an alternate platform, and it only makes sense for me to, in case something happens and I lose my platform here, it gives me an opportunity to archive what I have already saved and have some content that just won't go away in case something happens on YouTube. So, because YouTube is kind of picky about what goes in content, what goes in comment sections. And like I tell you guys all the time, I read every comment. Not necessarily going to reply. A lot of times I don't, because you guys, I have over 1,000 videos. You have, Jared can probably back me up on this, how much time it would take to respond to those comments. So at any rate, people are leaving. People are leaving apparently because I got on a tirade about something else. At any rate, something that I was going to put out to you guys. Jared, you might want to think about it. I'll try and get you all day. It'd be an all day. It'd be a full-time job. I'll get you in touch with them if you want to try and double up some of your content if you have stuff archived. I will talk to them and see if they're willing to send you a producer invite and set up a channel for you. And then you can just start porting things there. So anyway, what I was going to say was, big announcement. We are coming up very rapidly on this being some of the last videos that we shoot with the backdrop of these gorgeous counters cabinets that Nico did. Because yesterday I showed the house to a couple, really nice couple, starting their own family. They currently live with family. They've been saving a lot to be able to do this, and they want to live in this area because they have family close. It puts them in the middle. And I basically accepted an offer on the house yesterday. So we shall be looking for a new place. So expect content to start to slow down. I apologize. I'm going to try and shoot some stuff today that I owe you guys. I've got knives here for sharpening that I have got to get done. Unfortunately, it is windy and raining. It's been raining hard enough that there's the entire countertop out there is just trashed and dirty and wet. So I'm not sharpening today. I may have to talk my wife into letting me sharpen in the kitchen. I have stuff here that has got to get done and go back out to you guys. But with that, I'm going to say I'm going to have to start turning down sharpening for a while, because we have to pack this house out. We have to find a place. We have to go look at places. We have to still do all the other things we've been doing. And unfortunately, I think that YouTube's what's going to wind up taking a hit. I will definitely try to do live feeds. Live feeds are easy. I don't have to prepare anything. I don't have to have specs. I don't have to have my scale. I don't have to physically have a knife. I don't even have a knife in my pocket right now. That's sacrilege. I should at least grab something, even if it's horrible. A horrible knife is still better than no knife. I don't know though. I want to clarify for you guys. Well, I mean, I have knives available. There's knives everywhere. I don't have a horizontal surface in my house where there's not at least several knives. There's another knife right here on the counter. It just happens to be a fact. I just didn't have one in the pocket of my sweatpants. Do I have one in my sweatshirt pocket? No. So, like I was saying, content is going to, I'm going to try and shoot a bunch of stuff today. But I also know that means I've got to pack up the stuff that's here that I would do a review on. I do have a Shirowsb F something here. I can't ever remember the Shirowsb. I'm not a big fan of the Shirowsb. Dad was also a fucking weirdo. I mean, I would sleep with something in my pocket if I slept in clothes. You want that image, baby sis? The fact that the reason I don't sleep with a knife in a pocket is because the only pocket I have when I'm sleeping is my prison pocket. Because I have slept nude for years. There's an image. There's an image for you. Picture that. Yeah. Come on, I'm eating. So what's scarier than a 6'3" Viking coming running at you with a firearm, a knife, or a sword? A naked 6'3" Viking coming at you with said items. Let's go. Let's go actually get a knife. I'll go get a knife. I have something I have to carry. No, that's fine. Okay, it's good. We're good. We're good. No one knows. The rest of YouTube does not need the weirdness that our family is. We had a conversation about how weird our family is yesterday. There it is. I am going to today, I have fresh ground bison that a guy brought back for me from a hunt. And I'd like to say that it's David up at Hiking with a Viking, but he's still yet to send me any elk or anything. I have fresh ground bison that I am going to make bison burgers. And then I'm going to, because bison, I'm going to add, bison's really lean. So I've got my small meat grinder, the hand grinder. I'm going to grind up some pork belly and mix through it. And I'm going to make bison burgers. And then once they're done cooking, because the weather's so bad and I don't want to try and get the smoker block and everything and do them on that grill out there in the rain on the nastiness, I'm going to just fry them. And then I have that smoke infuser, and I'm definitely gonna try and see how that works. I smoked some coffee the other day. Oh, Crowtown pizza is so good. So we live in a small town. Like, matter of fact, we live in what could not even be called a town, more accurately a village. Very small. What do you call something that's smaller than a town? I mean, I can't remember. It's not a village, we live in there's like less than 300 people in our town. And Hamlet, there you go, 150 people. It's 150 now? Wow, population went up. Anyway, it used to be like 130 to 150 people. And so there's, the closest town is West Lafayette, which is about 4 miles away, 5 miles away. And then when you go to an actual, like, what would be someplace where you can get groceries and have a pizza place and things like that, you're looking at driving, what is it, 18 or 20 miles to Coshocton? 25, something like that. I forget how far it is to Coshocton. It's a drive. I mean, it's a 30-minute drive to town and like a 30-minute drive back. But there's a place called Crowtown Pizza, and it's really good pizza. I really liked it. There was another place that you guys get pizza from that actually delivered. Was it Fox's? Anyway, that wasn't what we were going to talk about. So the house is going 10 miles. Yeah. 10 miles? It's only 10? It feels so much longer. It feels so much further when you're driving it because there's nothing. There's literally nothing except for a Walmart at Murphy's gas station, a couple houses off to the right, and a vocational school. That's the only things between my house and the actual city in my pocket. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I don't know why it's doing this. Signal is horrible here. I'm probably breaking up badly, but so we'll try to keep this going. But I want a big shout out to both Jason Stone and JoJo Jeep. The original, I got this 940 as a gift from Jason Stone at Blade Show West 2018, I believe. And I sent it, I gave it to Benchmade there. They put a brand new S30V blade in it. Now, you guys know I'm not a fan of S30V. That guy, Jojo Jeep, left a comment saying he had an S90V blade that he was giving away and asked me if I wanted it. I contacted him via email and he sent it out. I got it like not even 2 days later, like the next day. It has oversized thumb studs and things like that. I'm not a fan of Benchmade, but when they do stuff right, it can be great. And the only reason I'm not a fan of Benchmade is because they used to be so good and now they're so hit or miss. This is exactly the knife that I would want from Benchmade. It's perfectly centered, S90V blade. I redid the aluminum with black ceramic as opposed to the green and purple that it was, which a lot of people love that. It's just that wasn't what I wanted. This is a very, very good EDC option. And the fact is, it's so light and thin in all dimensions that it just provides you a really compact package. I've always loved the Osborne 940 design. I always wanted one, and I just could never justify the $150 for a knife that I thought was kind of substandard. I don't want to do tie. I like the weight of this, Jared. I'll send this off to you because you can I'll send it off to you for like a hybridized Mike Emler thing if I can get it out of my pocket long enough. This has replaced your 80/20. Now that I've fixed the edge and repaired it and everything, and S90 is, once you get it sharp, it's just crazy how well it cuts. I don't recommend doing a high grit edge on it. This is one of those steels that will do great. This is at 1,000 grit and it is terrifyingly toothy. So I just incredibly happy with the fact that this is exactly what I want. I wish Benchmade would allow you the option, because if I'm willing to spend the money to build myself a 940 and I say, okay, I want black aluminum with a black clip, just titanium here, and then, you know, S90V blade with larger thumb studs. If you're willing to pay to do that, I don't know why they won't let you. I told them I was willing to pay extra for a S90V blade in this when I talked to them at Blade West, and they're like, nope, they won't let us do Franken knives. I was like, why? Like, I'm willing to pay you to do it. And they're like, no, we can't do it. It's like, if it came with an S30 blade, it gets an S30 blade. And I was like, it's ridiculous. It's not like dimensionally, that S30 blade and this S90 blade are exactly the same. The only thing I saw was there's 3 little holes drilled in this, the 3 little holes in this blade that you can't see that are not in the S30V blade. Now, I don't know what that is. I don't know if there's a reason for that. That's the only difference. Dimensionally, I measured everything. They are identical. The only thing is the S90V has got a bit of a different finish. It's a darker stone wash finish as opposed to the burger grinder finish, the satin finish that's on my S30V blade. And I'll tell you what, I don't care. I don't care because I've always wanted this steel. This knife has been something I wanted for a very long time, and it's gonna get another video because I did a video about it once I got it. I understand now that I have one, and it's exactly the way I want it. I understand why Wrangler Star says that this is the best knife he's ever owned. I mean, I have definitely had better knives, but I could see that being up there for some guys. I really, really like this knife, and it offers you a lot in such a small package. You've got a full-sized EDC in such a thin package that it doesn't carry. Like, it's not a little knife. I mean, you guys know how big my hands are. It's not a little knife, but it carries as easily, if not easier, than some of my small knives. This carries as easily as that Rhea from Artisan. It really does. Oh, it's raining again. I was hoping I could get out there. I have some fixed blades that I got. I think this is just going to be a running issue, so we're not even going to try and do it because you guys are going to just know that there's a video going up about. I have a Gerber and I have a SOG, and they're both fixed blades, and they both came in, and I'm really impressed with the quality. One is a SOG Forge fixed blade, and the other one is a Gerber fixed blade. They're both really nice fixed blades, but I have a tendency to not really like either one of those companies because they have really good designs, but then their quality and the type of steel and things like that for what you pay. Mr. Morgan, I haven't just been a fan of the quality, and these ones are really, really well done. I'm not gonna lie, the reason I don't like SOG is because they put a knife up against my knife at Blade West for Best New Fixed Blade, and it was a SOG Seal Pup. And I was like, guys, how is that a new fixed blade design? How did I take second place to a knife that has been around? I had my first one. Are you ready for this? I was issued my first SOG Seal Pup in 2003. 2003, and in 2019, my knife lost Best New Fixed Blade to a SOG Seal Pup. I don't think that's fair. Well, the handle's different. It's still a SOG Seal Pup. If I can go back through your catalog and find various versions of that, then that's not a new fixed blade. So, but yeah, the house, the couple took an offer on a house. They really like it. What sells this house, I have to admit, what sells this house is the bedroom, the master bedroom. And I think I've showed you guys like how big my master bedroom is in this house. And that's one of the things I really do love. And I'm gonna regret some things about selling this house, and losing that massive master bedroom will be one of them. Huge living room. Our master bedroom is as large as we have a larger master bedroom than we had living room in the place we lived before, the place we rented before we moved here. And then the living room here is huge. Like, it's massive. We have a huge sectional that doesn't even take up a piece of the living room. My daughter still uses it as a gym. And I have all my shipping and receiving. We have a huge big TV stand. Those are just like, it's gonna be hard to find a place that compares size-wise for some rooms to this, but then there's just other issues. Like, this kitchen is tiny. Like, there's a big dining area behind this counter that I'm standing in front of, but the actual kitchen itself is small. Like, my wife gets upset when I come into the kitchen while she's cooking because she's busy and she's using the counter. And I'm like, what the crap? And she gets mad. She's like, why are you in the kitchen? I was like, I'm getting a glass of water. Well, hurry up and get out. It's cramped and it's crowded, and it's not a real great kitchen. Now, the use of space in this house is great. 2-car garage, but, financially, I can't afford to remodel this kitchen for it to be something that my wife would want. And I also know that I can't, if something goes wrong, I'm screwed. Like, I am. I mean, financially right now, I cannot afford to miss this market. If something goes wrong with this sale, I'm stuck with this house for the rest of my life, because financially I cannot afford to. When did you move from the Buckeye State, Chris? I cannot afford to do the things to keep this house competitive on the market in the next 5 years. I'd have to remodel and all those things, and I can't afford to do it. But what I can afford to do, sell this place, pocket that $130,000, keep that in my bank account, use that for whatever we need it for. No, I'm not moving back. I'm staying here. I I have to stay somewhere where I can keep my daughter on par with the coaching she's getting here, and I just haven't found any place. The only place we found that's close is Dallas, Texas. So, but that's an option for the next few years. We're just gonna have to look at it and see. I had thought about working at Microtech. I talked to them a few times about working at Microtech. I basically have a standing offer to go work at Microtech. But once again, where I would be for that, we're like 60 miles from the nearest ice rink, and I don't want my wife to have to. I don't want my wife to have to do that. I don't want her. We already drive once a week, 40 miles one way to the ice rink. Boy, my eye is really. When I'm tired, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, I was born with a lazy eye, and I went and was taught how to strengthen the eye up, but when I'm really tired, it has a tendency to drift. And I can see that it looks like I'm looking at that way with this eye, because I'm exhausted. I spent the last 2 weeks, or the last week, just cleaning the house and doing stuff. But at any rate, there's a lot of places I would love to go, but I just can't, because there's just not an availability for my daughter to skate as I would want her to. So it's rough. So I'd love to get out of California, but it's just right now, it's just not an option. And I'm, as much as okay, so I have family members that are like, oh, just screw it, just go. And I'm like, yeah, see, here's the thing. Being a parent means that you sacrifice the things you want for the things that your child needs and wants. And I have said from day one, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put my wants and needs above the wants and needs of my child. And so therefore I'm staying here. As much as I don't want to, I'm staying. But I have family members, oh, just do it. I was like, see, that's because you're selfish. That's because you're selfish. And the other thing that like selling this house does is my daughter skates, and it's expensive. And putting $130,000 into our bank account means that I don't have to sweat as much where that money's coming from, because I think you guys have heard me say, I grew up poor. I grew up poor, and I saw the look on, there were things that my sister and I wanted to do and have, and we just couldn't. And the look that would be on my father's face, knowing he wanted to do those things for us, but just couldn't, I felt bad for even asking. And I don't want my daughter to have that conflict of being able to want something, because you reach a point where you feel guilty for wanting something more. You honestly do. And I could see that in my father's face, that he wanted to be able to say yes, but just couldn't. So I don't want my daughter to feel bad about wanting more. Will I tell her no? Yes, but I don't want her to have that feeling of, I can't even ask, because I know we can't do it, because I've already seen that look of defeat, knowing that he wants to do those things, but can't. And I just don't want her to have that feeling. I love my father to death for all the things he did do and what he was able to do for nothing. We grew up poor. But, I mean, I can appreciate that, but I don't want to put her in that situation where even today, because of that, I feel guilty for wanting things for myself. And it's because of the way we grew up and the fact that my father couldn't do those things. And you saw that, and it broke something inside of me of wanting things for myself. Guys, I've got clothes that I've worn, no joke. I've got clothes that I've had since high school. I am 46, almost 47 years old. I still have t-shirts and things that I've had since high school, because I don't throw anything away, because I begrudge myself new things. To a point. There are some things, like I buy knives because they, especially now that I have the YouTube channel, that's when it really started, because I have a reason for that. There's a purpose behind that. It's not just I want it. So I am hoping they're going to soon start doing live feeds on the Full 30 platform, because I really like this. I told him, I was like, guys, the whole thing of live feeds, I was like, one, live or Full 30 will make money. They will. It just goes with the territory. Live feeds do make money. There's monetizing that's going on. I'm sure that some of you guys might be seeing some banners and stuff like that. It's financially sound for them to do it, but the interaction that you get with your audience is amazing. Like, I wouldn't talk about things like this in a regular video, but I'll do it with you guys on a live feed because I know you're here. I know you're physically listening. It's like having a conversation. And then the audience loyalty that it builds is great. So I'm debating, should I have another cup of coffee? I'm gonna have another cup of coffee. It's not real coffee, guys. You wanna see what I'm drinking? Like, because I have foregone all my other vices, and we're not gonna talk about what they are, but you all know what they are. So come 420 today, I will not be having anything. Just to throw that out there. Don't put anything in the comments. I don't want to get this taken down. But along with that, I know that I don't sleep when I'm not partaking in those vices. So I've been avoiding caffeine a little bit. So I've only been having like 1 cup of coffee a day. But when I was on the base getting groceries for my significant other, is that hat dry? Yes. That hat is dry. I had to wash my hat. When I went to the base, I saw something that piqued my interest, and I actually sent a box of these to my sister. This is the Cafe Pastello Cafe con leche, which is the sweet cream. And I know it's an instant, because there's nothing left in this. It's not actual coffee. But my goodness, is it tasty. How do you wash hats? In a sink. Fill the sink with water, add some laundry detergent, wash it, scrub the areas around it, make sure it's good and clean. You rinse it really good, and then you hang it up like this. It's not that hard. You don't put them in a washing machine. Washing machine will ruin the bill on these hats because they're cardboard. It's a cardboard bill. I don't like dishwasher. It gets it too hot, and then it all shrinks, and then this is what happens when you put it in dishwasher. It splits right there. If you wash it by hand, and I've only ever done that once on this hat, and it split. This is the 3rd one of these hats, guys. I don't know if you know this. This is not the OG Howell's hat. The back even is different. If you remember, the back of the original said drink Howell's, Lucky Thunder, and on the back it said New York and Cleveland. This is hat number 3. There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for what I did. And people are like, oh, you just really like that hat. No, I got the first hat for free. The original was free. Yeah, see, here's the empty. There's nothing in that one. It's just instant. Like hot cocoa mix, but it's tasty. And it's got coffee in it. But, okay, so what is Howell's? Howell's was a soda manufacturer, based in, if I remember right, they were based in Ohio. And so the reason the original said New York and Cleveland was because that's where their distribution points were. So Howell's Lucky Thunder, and it being orange, if I remember correctly from reading it, Howell's Lucky Thunder was the original formulation for Orange Crush, and they sold it. But you can still buy Howell's root beer. And it's just a goofy hat that I was at a friend's garage, and he had some hats. He had some hats on a shelf, and I was like, huh. And he's like, hey man, need a hat? And he threw me I have a Pro Cams Racing Cams hat. He threw me that, and I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, here, take this one too. He's like, this thing's been sitting on a shelf. He's like, some distributor brought it in. He's like, I had a bunch of different hats. He gave me one of these. He's like, it's been sitting up on that shelf. I mean, to the point that the plastic that it was in was just dirty and like starting to crack. And I pulled the hat out, and it was in perfect shape. And I was like, that's a nice hat. Well, I started wearing it in YouTube videos. And then it got to the point where it was in every YouTube video. And then it became something that people recognized. And I had someone tell me, honest to God, this is the truth. I had somebody email me and say, don't change, because I had worn some other hats. And I changed my hat, and people said something in the comments, and he goes, I follow your channel. And he's like, don't change that hat. He's like, don't, because it was getting bad. I was like, well, I gotta get a different hat. He's like, get another one of those hats. Because I had accidentally stumbled on something that fucking Steve Jobs did intentionally. I had found a way to associate myself with a uniform that people recognized. And we've reached a point with this hat that even wearing masks, and I wear a full face shield like this with a Farron Forge logo on it, I've reached the point where people recognize me because I wear this hat. And so instead of just wearing it on YouTube videos, I wear this hat all the time. Matter of fact, I have one in my cart on Amazon to replace this one because, as we've stated, this one's falling apart. And the first one wasn't worn like this. I just wore it enough that the entire bill got stripped out because I had gotten it into a grinding belt at the shop. So the hat has now become such a part of my YouTube persona that I wear it, and I wear it all the time. I wear this hat all the time. And I mean, literally, I wake up in the morning and I grab this hat. I get out of the shower, I grab this hat. It's almost become something I don't think about. Oh, get the cup under the, I forgot to put the cup under the Keurig. But it's become something that is recognized with me, and everybody expects, I always have, like, if it's this time of year, I'm always wearing a black sweatshirt. I have like 4 different black sweatshirts. I always wear this hat. You know, I don't always wear a black shirt. I don't always wear a black shirt in videos, but the hat has become something that is recognized with this channel. And like, seriously, there's like, people will see me wearing a mask, guys on base, because a lot of Marines follow me. Well, I won't wear it. First of all, I don't like Cleveland Browns. It's one of those things I accidentally stumbled upon, and it gives me a recognition. I honestly have been on base like Miramar and Pendleton and been in the exchange or the commissary. And there's some Marines that are like, hey, are you Crazy Sharp? And I'm like, the funniest is when they do it and I'm wearing my Crazy Sharp shirt. And they'll say like, I recognize the hat. And I was like, you didn't see the shirt that in big bold letters with an ice pick says Crazy Sharp? You didn't see that, but you got the hat? No, it's just, yeah, see, there you go. The Ravens. See, if you save me a Cleveland Browns, you got to spray paint new on it, because the new Browns, that's not the Browns. The Ravens are the Browns. And apparently they just had to switch cities to stop being shitty. It's like, what was the Major League? At any rate, no, the hat thing, it was an accident at first, but now it's a thought out thing. I have spares because eventually they'll stop making these. I should buy like 5 of them. This one needs to be replaced because like, not only is that coming apart, the back of this is cracked, like right here. I actually, you can see how it's coming apart. So this one is about to go to the boneyard to be replaced by a new one. And you'll definitely notice, because when I get the new one, it's a much darker orange. I mean, I know a lot of people would, but it's just one of those things that has, it's just become one of those weird things that is associated with the channel. Like me bagging on Spyderco and Benchmade knives. People just kind of expect it. Or okay, here's a case in point. If you're watching on headphones, turn down the volume because here comes the music. I know that I've changed that, but it's just something that people just expect to hear. It's how I end the intro. It's how you know we've transitioned from the intro, like the teaser, into the intro and then into the main body of the video. I don't hate Emerson. Like, they have so much capability. I like Ernie. I've talked to Ernie several times. Oh no, this hat company's huge. They like all the really nice ball caps that you would buy on the really nice trucker hats that you would ever buy. The really nice trucker hats, the nice trucker hats. Such a silly phrase to say. I've talked to Ernie a bunch of times. Ernie is a great, great guy. He really is. I just don't like, I mean, even his choice in steel, like I might say, you know, for what you're paying, I don't think you should be using a steel, you like maybe upgrade your steel. But the reason that they do, Teddy caught a fish. Okay. I'm kidding. I like to play with people's names. I understand their choice in 154 CM. It's a knife steel that can be sharpened by the average Joe. So, I mean, I get it. I just wish they would execute stuff better. You know what I mean? For what you're paying, you shouldn't have a knife that, like I said, feels like it was put together in the dark with your toes. They are great steels. So, I just... These don't start wearing a hat, you'll never be able to remove it. So, no, there's little things that I've stumbled across accidentally for the channel. Like Nick Shabazz. Nick Shabazz has his shtick. And you guys know I know Nick personally, so I can tell you that that whole... I don't know how I want to... That his whole persona on his videos, well, his personality is really similar. It definitely doesn't sound like that. He plays that up horrendously because he's a really private guy. I love Nick. Nick is possibly Nick, Neves, Jim Skelton, and Jeff Smith over at Cutlery Lover. When it comes to like YouTubers and guys that knife channels, the nicest guys in the knife community. I know a lot of guys don't like Jim Skelton. Jim has this, there's a perception about Jim that he's a jerk or he's a, you know, or whatever. But I talk to Jim all the time. I love Jim. Jim's a great guy. I told Jim that I would come out to Texas while he's hurt and sick and prep things for him. Even if it was just gluing up handle material and cutting things out for him. I told him I would drive all the way to Texas to do that for him. Because that's how much I like the guy. I really do. I sent him one of my sea snakes. I didn't have money to buy him anything nice. I had a sea snake laying around. I sent him one as a gift, as a get well gift. Because he is a really great guy. I don't know where that idea that Jim is a prick came from. So, you know, like, there's people that you meet in the knife community and you really, really strike up a really good friendship. Aaron Frederick, I don't talk to him as often as I would like. God, Aaron's like my brother from another mother. We are the same fucking person. To the point that we had the same job at the same unit at the same time, just on different coasts. I did his job on the West Coast. He did my job on the East Coast. And we probably sent messages back and forth, just didn't realize it. You know, Will and Eric Touch had them, if you guys watch the video, you can tell me, Nico, Aaron Frederick, Nick Shabazz, Will and Eric Touch. We had my birthday party, my birthday dinner at the buffet in Vegas during USN. It was just, yeah, it was USN. You know, there's not much, like if Nick Shabazz asked me to do something for him, it'd happen. If Jared asked me to do something for him, it'd happen. If Jim Skelton decides that he needs somebody to come help out in the shop while he's injured, guys, guess what? There's not going to be any videos because I'm going to be in a car driving to Texas. So, okay, Jared, there are some exceptions. Anything you need, no, I'll do a favor for you, just nothing sexual. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. There'd have to be reciprocation in kind, I suppose. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. That thing makes the hottest coffee. is it just the K-Cup brewers that do that? Because holy crap, that makes like the hottest coffee. So guys, it's been 50 minutes. I think I hear my daughter up. I've got things I need to do. I got boot bands and see. Oh, I was going to tell you. So I watched your live feed. This is David at Hiking with a Viking. David, I saw your video. Alex. I saw your video yesterday when you were with Justin, and you showed your I think you called it a blanket pin. My grandfather had an old school one that he said was a Scottish cloak pin. And I didn't ever think anything of it, but you showed it and I was like, we had one of those. We had one of those. It was a Scottish cloak pin for their wraps that they wore around, and then they could throw that over their shoulders, and that's how it was attached when they would bring it up and across and then pin it on there. And we had one on the farm, and it was, yeah, it was pretty cool. So so if you guys don't know, so it's basically a pin with a loop on the end, and then a C, like a C ring with a loop on the end, and that pin is in there, and then there's another loop on the end of it, and what you do is you wrap your blanket over yourself, and you fold it over, and you fold it over yourself, and then you push the pin through both pieces, and then clip the unattached loop back onto the pin, and it holds your, and it makes you can turn a blanket into basically a poncho, and then just throw that up over your shoulder, and it keeps it in place because it's pinned instead of like, I think you showed it when you stand up, you drop your blanket, and you're cold, you're like wrapped up in a wool blanket. The second I saw you put that up, I was like, oh, I need to call him, but I forgot, and by the time I got around to it, it was late. And we had an old one, and I think it had a metal loop, but if I remember right, it looked like a piece of old whalebone, or I'm pretty sure it was probably an old piece of whalebone or walrus tusk or something like that the actual pin was made out of. And it had a hole. It looked like a sail off needle, like a sail needle with a C ring or a C clip on it. It wasn't as thick as yours. It was a much thinner piece of wire. But I remember it. He told me how that thing worked, and he'd had it for years. So let's do give you guys 8 more minutes. Yeah, like I said, it was either walrus tusk or whalebone or something, and it was a lot thinner, and it was one of those things like it was old, so you didn't get to fuck with it because you break it, it was brittle. Yeah, but it's a pretty cool idea, and it's something simple you can make. You made yours out of you said a coat hanger, I think. Guys, I had to wash this hat, and I didn't get back into why I had to wash the hat. It smells so much better. I would take this hat off and throw it on the love seat in the bathroom, in the bedroom, and then walk out to the kitchen and do stuff. And I walk back in. I'm like, what is that greasy, oily, garlicky diesel fuel smell? And I realized that I was like, oh, it's my hat. Like the top of this was just, you can still see it. There was like an oil stain on the top because there's a whole big patch up here. It's my solar panel. That's why I wear a hat all the time. I don't want to overcharge my brain. So I have a patch up there where the sun hits it, and then it charges my brain for me because there's no hair in the way. I've tried everything I can. I've used Miracle Grow. I give it southern exposure. I water it daily, and I just cannot get anything to grow up there. I think it's just sour soil. So apparently direct contact with the solar panel will make a greasy spot on the top of your hat. So, oh guys, I think I'm installing one. Don't do it because it becomes painful when you overcharge your brain. It gets all red, and then this part of the solar panel peels off. Apparently it's not good for you. You can catch cancer from a solar panel. So it's especially if you work outside a lot like you do. Jared, I meant to ask you, how far are you from the lake? Do you still get the lake effect snow when it gets windy? Chris, if you had any idea how many bar fights I've been in, how many scars are up there, man, my head, if I shave my head, looks like, shave my head, it looks like John Rambo's chest. Cuts and scars and stuff. I can't grow my hair long. I have more hair on my chin than I have on the top of my head. A lot more. I was sitting somewhere and I'm tall. You guys know I'm like 6'2", flat-footed, 6'3" if I'm wearing shoes. But Viking scarf. So I forget what I was talking about. Gosh darn it. Help refresh my memory. No, I don't remember. It's gone. I'm coming up on 50, guys. I forget things. Like my memory, I think that's, oh, so I was sitting down because I'm like 6 foot flat-footed. I'm 6'2" flat-footed, 6'3" if I'm wearing shoes. I'm like almost 6'2" and a half. So like in that area. So it depends on the shoes. So I was sitting down and I had my hat off. And one of my friend's wives was like, oh my God. She's like, I did not realize that you were that thin on top. And I was like, I've been thin on top for years. That bald spot's been there for a while. I mean, years, literally. I was in my mid-20s when that started. And I think it's finally it's reached a point where it's just not gonna get any worse. It's come up a little bit. But this is what my grandfather's hair looked like when he was in his 80s. Like he got thin, you could see it in pictures. He got thin when he was younger and it just went away. And she was like, I did not know you were that thin on top. And I was like, it's just the fact that I was like, most people don't. I'm tall enough. I'm well above average height. And most people don't see the top of my head. And I wear a hat. A lot. And so I was like, a lot. And most people don't realize that I've got a bald spot on top. Because I'm, like I said, if I'm wearing my work boots, I'm 6'3" and above, 6'3" and a half, almost 6'4" if I'm wearing my work boots. I'm 6'2" and a half, flat-footed. 6'3", depends on who's measuring me. Yeah, but it just never, here, you can see it. It's never gotten any worse than that. It's been like that since I didn't start in high school, but I was probably 23, 24 when I noticed that it was getting thin on top. But the whole thing was I kept my hair short. I was in the military. I didn't care. I still keep my hair short. I don't know if you've noticed. I cut my own hair. The only time my hair's ever been long that you guys really remember was when I grew my hair long to donate it. And then there also was the time just here recently because barbershops and everything were closed and I hadn't started cutting my own hair again yet. So now I cut my own hair. I'm saving myself. You go to the barbershop over here just to get a haircut, $16. I'm like, God, I just can't afford. I'm like, I'm not spending $16 for something I can do myself at home. I just lost one. I just had one. I had one that got it. You guys remember it. I just had one yanked here not long ago. And I've got one that cracked. I got one that cracked here. And I think it might have cracked a while ago. But as my doctor will tell you, I have an incredibly high pain tolerance. Like ridiculously high. And it gets to the point where before I realize something, by the time I realize something hurts, something bad has happened. So I imagine that tooth had been cracked for a while because a piece of it just fell out. It had felt weird for a while when I'd be flossing. I'm like, wow, it feels like there's something catching or something in there. And I was having a hard, and a piece of it just fell out. And I was like, oh, well, that tooth cracked. And I mean, I've done, God only knows what could have caused it. I've done mixed martial arts. I rode horseback. I rode saddle bronc. I've been in bar fights. That tooth could have been broke for years and I just didn't know it because I'm not gonna lie to you. I take care of my teeth, but I haven't been to a dentist in 7 years, I think, 7, 8 years. Because the fact is, I don't trust dentists. We were talking about this. Elliot and I were talking about it. He still has his wisdom teeth. And he's like, now it's this thing like, oh, you got to get your wisdom teeth pulled. He went to a friend and he had a dentist tell him that, oh, you need to get your wisdom teeth pulled. And so Elliot went and got a second opinion from a friend who happened to be a reputable dentist. And the guy was like, look, you do not need your wisdom teeth pulled. He's like, you have plenty of room for you're coming in straight and all that. Oh, do you think about the Redford? Okay, so the Striders that I've seen, the new production Striders, so that you guys know, I'm not going to say it's 100% unless they've announced it, because you guys know, I don't pay attention to what goes on in Knife World unless I'm at a show. I am 99% sure that the new Striders are being made by Medford. And if, Neves, if you could make sure that if they have announced it, let me know, so that way I can just go ahead and say that Greg is making the new Striders for Mick. But I will say that the newest line of production Striders, okay, so the ones that Greg Medford are making for Mick are possibly some of the best. I'm not even gonna say possibly. They are the best Striders, production Striders out there. They're the best ones that have been done. They are smooth. Their lockup is great. They're not sticky. They're not what you expect. Like, it used to be the joke, like, how do you know how do you know if you got a knockoff Strider? And Mick laughed about it because he's seen the video, and I've said it before. These are the things that you look for in a Strider: lock stick, blade play, lock rock, like horrible lock stick. And that's how you know you got a genuine Strider, because if you sent that Strider off and somebody was going to counterfeit it, they would get that knife. The Chinese would get that knife and go, this can't be right. We have to fix these things, or no one's going to buy this. No one's going to believe that they're a real one. And so you would get a better product. And Mick saw that video. That was one of the things, like, when I came up and I bought that SMF, he goes, oh, it's you. And I was like, I was like, you made this one, Mick? And I was like, are you sure it's a knockoff? There's no lock stick. And he goes, I knew it. I knew you were going to do that. And I just sold that Strider I had. Am I? Yeah. Yeah, we just got to see how this one pans out. I have 2 more designs. They might not be with Artisan. I have one. If any of you guys know anybody at Cold Steel in their design team, I would like to know, because I have a knife design that I have looked at every direction, and the only company I could see being able to manufacture, produce, and market this knife is Cold Steel. It's a dagger version of the Stonefish. They're the only people I can see doing it. It's called the Mukade. I'm just trying to find somebody that will do it as a production knife. But they didn't sell their design team. Okay, so I've talked to a few people, and from what I understand is, yes, GSM is under new ownership, but their design team and everything's still there. GSM only owns the Cold Steel name and now has the production capability to make the knives. I would love to get a hold of K-Bar. Do you know anybody at K-Bar? This is the thing. As a new maker, a new designer, companies don't want to talk to you. Well, we don't want to talk to them. They don't care that you've made custom knives. They don't care that your knives may have had some acclaim at shows. Like, mine took 2nd place for the best new fixed blade at Blade West. 2nd place for the Stonefish. They don't care about that. What they care about is, what are the numbers of sales of your knives? Because we're not going to hop in bed with some. The only company that really will take on new makers and new designers and just is Columbia River Knife and Tool, CRKT, because they just make stuff for anyone. And they're just like, let's see if this works, because they have that brand horsepower, the recognition that they can make a bad product every once in a while. You know what I mean? They can kick out a design that people might not like because they have enough recognition. Well, we'll see. I have not. I have not looked at those avenues yet. Now, the dagger is a bad bitch. I ain't gonna lie. I think I'm going to see if I can't get. I'm gonna leverage some friendship things and see if I can't get a prototype made from a friend. I have a couple friends that probably could prototype me one, and it would be a CNC. So, I call in some friendships, call in some friends, and say, "Hey, I need a favor. I will maybe go as far as an over the pants handy dandy." Hogue, I've talked with the guys at Hogue. I have a pretty good relationship with some of the folks at Hogue. They got some really good reviews and videos. They're really good folks, and they make decent knives. Problem with Hogue is until the designer that they currently have leaves, they're not going to, like, they basically have kind of an exclusivity, probably by contract, to this one designer that there can't be competing things going on. I may also, Chris Reeve Knives makes fixed blade combat knives. I may see what Tim and Ann and Matt over at CRK think. So, but guys, it's been 66 minutes. I do need to get off of here. It's Sunday. My kid just got up. I mean, she's not going to want to spend any time with me, but she's a teenager now. She's like, Dad's not cool enough to hang out with. She just doesn't realize how cool Dad really is. She just doesn't know. She just sees her dad. Because I guarantee that any little boy she brings home is going to be terrified of me at first until he realizes how cool I am. And then I get him in a comfort zone. And that way I can sneak up behind him and break his freaking little neck. Got to get him in that comfort zone so that way you can sneak up behind them. That way they're not on edge around you. You got to be cool with them. That way you can sneak them. Because I'm too old to be chasing like a teenager around to try and get my hands around his neck. I want to be able to lure him in so I can get him around, twist his little head off. That way I don't have to chase him around the house, throw a chair at him to do it. Yeah, I know, I'm evil. Guys, if you haven't already dropped a like, I'd greatly appreciate it. I love these live feeds. They're nothing but goofy. We don't do any actual knife stuff really in these videos. We just kind of BS, and I love it. It's a nice change from the scripted-ish content that I do for the videos that go up. And even if I do curse a lot in these and they get demonetized, I honestly don't care because these are just fun. So, guys, take it easy. Love you all. I will probably do a feed tomorrow. Oh, just so you guys know, the 11 of you that are still here, I'm probably going to do a feed tomorrow because I have to pick a new winner for the Stonefish for the members because Alex has a custom. And then the other thing is that custom fixed blade that was the 5,000 giveaway. I'm not going to wait any longer. Gary Graham, I apologize. You're out and running. I'm going to film it. It's too late now. I've been waiting long enough. I want to get that shipped out and have it out so that there's somebody. So keep your eyes open for that because you will need to. I might have to go back and go through the comments on the original giveaway video for the 5,000 giveaway, 5,000 subscriber giveaway. I'm going to take down the original drawing video and I'll put up a new one just for that custom fixed blade because I just want, I want to get it done. I want one of you guys to have that item. So keep your eyes open for that. I may actually even do it today. I haven't decided yet. It just depends on what I got going on. I do want to shoot this video about these lights today, but I also, I want to take, guys, I got up yesterday morning and I cleaned the entire house all over again before these folks came and looked at it. Just organizing because I didn't want it to look cluttered. So I really haven't had any time off to do anything. I've been up till like 11, 12 o'clock every night for almost 2 weeks now. So guys, take it easy. Follow me on Full 30. There should be a link. If my defaults are working, there should be a link to my Full 30 channel down below. And I'll make sure that I have the link for the lights. The sale actually starts tomorrow, but you can always follow the link and find out what's available and what time. These are actually sold out. So Take it easy. I'm gonna do a video on the channel, and I'm thinking maybe Manfred Mann, Blinded by the Light, as the music to intro it on Full 30, because I don't have to worry about copyright. Guys, take it easy. I love you. See you in the next video.